Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one, we finally have a riding video for you guys. We have a horse named Boone here that was having trouble picking up a right lead, and she's been working at this a bit over the summer, and it's inconsistent at best, and sometimes even gets even worse than that. She brought him over here for a week, and we're going to see if we can kind of help her out and find a way to release him to taking that right lead. Let's get into it. So one of the things that I observed with this horse when I watched her ride him for me and kind of see where he's at is he had a tendency to kind of go around and take a counter bend. And so he'd just kind of tip his nose to the outside and just kind of lead like he's doing right now, just leading with his shoulder and ribs to the right. And a lot of people would think of this as like the horse falling in on a circle, but I actually think of it as more of the horse getting a little defensive. They're getting a little bit bracy right there. And so if you have a horse that's bracy, they're not going to be very mindful of what lead they come out on. And if they're leading with that side, they're probably going to end up taking the counter lead anyways, because their body's not set up. They should be the shape should be reversed to set up for the correct lead. So instead of a C to the inside, there should be a C to the outside. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to warm him up by just trotting around, and right away I can tell he's just a little bit impulsive. Like I asked for a slower trot, and he's kind of picking up a little speed. So I'm just going to reach down and bring my life down and put him onto a bend. And this is an exercise I call relax rein, and it's something we teach a lot on my Patreon page, and we go through a fundamental series on there. And this is one of the key exercises that's really important to get a horse to understand. But I'm just asking him to walk a small circle and bend around my inside leg and take that correct C. But in that position that I had him in, it's a very controlled position where it's easy for me to ask him to get softer and kind of shape up there. And so we're just going to trot around. And another thing I'm going to be doing while I trot around is feeling where he's taking me. And right now he's taking me kind of to the left. So I might just go ahead and reverse him and steer him the other way. And I'm just I'm picking little things to be picky with, so that I'm going to end up ultimately, hopefully, releasing him to the right lead canter. Okay, I can feel him leaning to the right now, so I might pick him up and go the other way. So if I don't feel a lot of the bend getting wonky while I'm riding, I'm just going to do that kind of riding guide exercise. And again, I go into that in detail on my Patreon page. But if I feel him kind of take that counter bend, I'm going to sit, pick him up, and ask him to just get soft in the circle. And you can see he's flowing into it. This is my second day of doing this with him, and he's getting pretty good the hang of it here. So just ask him to get soft there and then trot on again. Now there's one more step, prep step if you will, that I'm going to do to set him up for the correct lead, that at this horse's level of training is kind of where you want to be at. Oh, and he's even going to offer me the right lead there. Now, I didn't ask him to canter there, but we'll go ahead and take that because that's what he was having trouble with. So instead of just shutting that down and saying, no, don't do that, I'm going to go ahead and bend him here because he went ahead and gave that to me anyways. And again, he shouldn't have loped off. You know, that's coming from him being a little bit of anxiousness there, a little bit of impulsiveness. But at the same time, so instead of shutting it down and saying, no, I didn't say canter, I just kind of let him get into that lope a little bit, and then I just softly bent him down. And just kind of redirected his attention. So I didn't give him a correction there. I just kind of redirected the energy and give him something else. But there's one more step that I want to do with him before I ask him to canter. And this is going to help him build a little depth of understanding there and not just be able to get a right lead when you got your inside rein fixed and you got your outside leg back and you hold your mouth just right and you try to like put a million things together to get it. I want to try to set it up where he's sweet on that right lead, because I'm going to release him to the right lead. And again, this is something you guys have seen me do with a lot of horses in a lot of different scenarios, just maybe not the cantering version yet. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to take a left lead here at first. And that's the other thing. She kind of felt like she got in a fight with him going into that lead, and he actually learned to kind of shut down. And I kind of felt that right there. He kind of will stall out and soul up a little bit. So we got to make sure we got that forward. So I'm going to pick him up on a left bend and push his shoulders around to the right. And again, this isn't the lead that she was having trouble with, but I just want to show you guys the setup here. Now I'm going to counter bend him, and this allows me to put a little pressure on him with my reins and my leg so that then I can go like this and open up my left leg. And he didn't take me up on it, so I'm going to go ahead and quit it there. And instead of pushing him into that canter, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up that counter bend because I want it connected to this counter bend. And then I'll show it towards the camera here. Release my left leg. We'll go ahead and pick up that left lead. Again, this isn't the lead who's having trouble, but I just kind of want him to see him blowing out there, relaxing. He kind of needed to move out there. He broke gait on me, no big deal. But what I'm not going to do, because he's a little hair impulsive, I'm not going to kick him into the lope again, because that'll teach a horse to get more speedy there. If they break gait, I'm going to say, okay, you can slow down, because ultimately getting a horse to stop is harder than getting him to go. But I'm not going to make it comfortable. And the way I'm not allowing that to be comfortable and getting relief for slowing down is by putting a little pressure on him. I'm shaping him up with my reins. I'm putting my right leg on him here. And now we're going to do that counter bend to the right and try to release him to a right lead. And this went pretty successful yesterday, so I'm not expecting to have a ton of issues today. He feels a little heavier yielding this way. That's not surprising. Right here, release my right leg. And boom, there's our right lead. So this is a pretty simple fix, but this is kind of a habit and one of the skills that's in my fundamental series for riding that I thought would be helpful for you guys to see as well. Again, he broke gait again, no big deal. And instead of pushing him into it, which again would get him a little racy, I'm just going to put a little pressure on him here at the trot and just make this not as much of relief as he kind of thought it was going to be. And I want to release him to that right lead again. So I'm going to stack the deck a little bit in favor of that right lead and release him to that one a little more than I'm going to release him to the left one. Oh, so there we missed it. And that problem was he was thinking to the left. He didn't steer in the direction I was headed. So that's where it's a little bit of a steering issue. So if you rewind the tape, I talked about two things. I talked about getting him more relaxed, and then I talked about ride and guide, because I could feel him taking over. So if you're riding a horse and you feel those two things, I know that those are going to lead to challenges later on, whether it's getting a lead or going to get your cow or whatever it is you're doing, even trying to ride on a trail ride. They're going to be taking over. So what I'd rather do is not focus on the maneuver so much, focus on some exercises that prepares the horse to take the maneuver nice and easy. Okay, and so one of those for him is that ride and guide. And that's basically where you're trying to get a horse to just ride out in a straight line and not take over right or left. So I'm pushing that shoulder over. Now I'm going to lead him to the right. And there's our right lead. I'm going to try to keep him in the canter a little bit longer this time. Let him just cruise around here and get relaxed. You can see he's got a little bit of tension in his body. And that's that moment where he's wanting to slow up a little bit. So because that was a pretty strong I want to quit button, I went ahead and pushed him forward into that canter. There we go. And now, because he's consistently wanting to break gait over there, I'll go ahead and switch the pattern and I'll quit riding him over here and I'll let him get relief over here. So I hope you guys can see there's a lot of little strategies, psychological games that you can kind of be playing to set things up for success. If I had stopped there to talk to the camera, I would have just been reinforcing what he was already trying to do, which is quit over there. So again, just lots of little things here. And yeah, so I got some work to do here. I need to keep working on bending him and doing some riding guide. That's going to take a little bit of time before I start cantering him again. So I'm going to take the next 15-20 minutes here and do that at a trot. And then to quit the ride, I'll do a couple more releasing him to the right lead. And that'll be the ride for today on Boone here. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one.